Welcome to my channel, Ken here. Today let's take a look at the Neumann NDH30 headphones made for the studio. Let's go! So Sweetwater sent me these Neumann NDH30 headphones, and I just want to let you know that the opinion is mine alone. They have no influence on what I'm going to say. So Neumann made these headphones for music production use, so not for commercial use. So they're voiced that way. They're voiced after one of their studio monitors, supposedly. Now what they are is open back microphones. I'm going to read some of the specs here. They are around the ear, not on the ear or in-ear headphones. They are 120 ohm impedance, which is relatively high. That means that pretty much anything can drive them, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. They are 350 grams approximately, a little more with the cable, which puts it in a little bit of a higher end of weight, but not quite as high as, let's say, Odysseys or HiFiMan and other headphones. They're relatively benign in their impedance, so therefore it makes them pretty easy to drive. I found them to be relatively efficient too, so you didn't need a whole lot of volume, although they can play loud, I gotta say that. So the build quality is very good. It looks like it's aluminum mostly, not a lot of plastic, which is nice. They have these, if you can see this, they have like a plush ear pad. I prefer leather, but I found these comfortable, and it has a solid band on top without the strainer, so it's padded, and the adjustments are pretty easy. And what I like is, you can see that inside here, they have a big L and R, so you can put them on the proper way. Which brings me to one oddity I have about these headphones. The headphone cable is on the right side. Usually it's on the left side, so especially when I first got them, I tended to put them on the wrong way all the time because I'm so used to having the cable coming out of the left ear. Now that said, they're pretty high quality in the $600-700 range, so I find them relatively inexpensive. I wouldn't call them inexpensive, but they are relatively inexpensive considering that they're used for monitoring music in a studio, because that's their intent. If you're interested in these headphones, please check the link below. I have a link there to Sweetwater. It's of no cost to you, but it helps my channel if you buy it through that link. Thank you. I've done extensive listening on various devices, from phones, iPads, to high-end headphone amps, especially this one over here, the Benchmark HPA4. I tried them on the Cranborne system, both the cast system as well as the built-in headphone amplifier, and I also tried them on a Lynx audio interface and a hi-fi system by Emotiva. I also tried it with both the 1/4 inch and the 1/8 inch jack, and everything feels solid and well built in this. This is very high quality. As far as the sound quality of these, after listening to them for even a minute, I did notice that the frequency response was pretty flat in the lower mid-range through the mid-range. That was really impressive, I thought. I also noticed that they kind of roll off in the lower bass, and they certainly don't sound hyped. After further and more extensive listening and using it on a couple of mixes and in productions, I did notice that the upper end, the very top end, above, let's say, 2K and up, it gets a little slightly ragged in the upper frequencies. They're very pleasant to listen to, but they do roll off a little bit in that present region, 3K or something like that. So that made me look at a bunch of graphs that you can see here, and it does verify what I was hearing. If you're looking for bombastic, hyped, smiley face curves and stuff like that, look elsewhere, because that's not what these headphones are about at all. The comfort is very good, and I sat with them for many hours. And what makes them so special is that they're so flat in the lower mid-range through the mid-range up to about 1.5K, I would say, maybe 2K. And it was really noticeable. If you're doing a lot of guitar work, especially heavy guitars and electric guitars stuff, all the energy is in that frequency range. So it's really easy for me to hear the lower bottom end on a guitar and the bass guitar, because it's flat from maybe 50, 60 hertz and all the way up to 1.5K. That's pretty impressive. I extensively tried them with Sound ID correction, which means that it'll flatten out the curve completely. And when I did that, and the reason I do that kind of stuff is to hear how open they sound in the top end and how much bass you can actually get out of them, or if they're flat, what would they sound like? Even when they're flat, they're not going to sound like other headphones necessarily, or any kind of monitor system. So I found that the upper range, the treble range above 5K and above, to be pretty sweet, but I wouldn't call it the most open and airy headphones that I've heard. Although they are open back, that helps a lot, but they're really good for making decisions on, especially in that mid-range category. So I give them kudos for that. However, that raggedness at the very top end, you ought to be a little bit careful with cymbals and reverb, top range and stuff like that, because if you can get used to it, or you can flatten them out. That's kind of what your choice is on this. I have not heard any headphones that are flat completely. That's never going to happen. As far as like comfort is concerned, it's an individual choice, but they are very, very comfortable. They also can play very loud. And that very bottom octave, 40 and below, you can EQ that up and it'll still be nice and tight and have definition. I wouldn't say they sound big and fat on the very bottom octave. If that's what you're looking for, I probably wouldn't recommend these. But as far as that golden mid-range where everything lives, they're very, very useful. Because they're so easy to drive, I can use them for a lot of stuff. Even driving them easily to pleasant volumes, if not pretty loud, on an iPad or an iPhone, without draining the battery immediately, which is nice. And I also think that for what they are and the price range they're probably going to be pretty sought after, I would imagine, because they have some special properties, especially that flatness and through the mid-range. So here's how they fit me. Okay, right on right. Pretty solid, don't move around a lot, no drag. I like the way they fit. They're pretty snug and firm, and they don't move around a lot. So, yeah, very comfortable. They're not the most detailed headphones. They certainly, compared to the planar magnetic headphones like the LCD-X by Odyssey or something like that, they're definitely more expensive, but I don't quite think they have the resolution that they have, for example, and the dynamics, meaning punchiness or hearing the dynamic changes, not like planar magnetic. They're dynamic headphones. From what I heard so far, in this price range, they definitely have an advantage. I also have heard the Sonderas from Hi-Fi Man, which is about a few $100 cheaper, and they're planar magnetic. And even there, I would say these are probably better. They definitely have a better mid-range. All in all, I do recommend them highly. When it comes to mixing and mastering on headphones, I'm curious to know what you think about using headphones instead of speakers or vice versa. A lot of people these days consume music on headphones. It's the predominant delivery system these days. So do you think that using headphones to mix and master or just to check on is important? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.